Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video, I will show you how to speed up your Moto Edge 60 Fusion. Let's begin! There are many ways to speed up your phone. Maybe your phone is lagging, maybe it's just old, or maybe it's new and you want to see if you can improve the performance. In any case, this video will help you. Starting with something very important, and that is the battery usage and basically how much applications are wasting your battery. So let's check it out. We can easily do that if we go to the battery, under the settings option. We want to find our battery, and then we want to go to battery usage. Here we have all our applications that are using our battery, sorted by the percentage. So, well, I don't really have enough data to show you because I didn't really use this phone before. However, you can see that I've opened TikTok for about half a second, maybe, I believe. Like it wasn't really that big. But even though if I activate TikTok like this, and it will just work in the background, it will waste my battery. And by that we can basically deduce which applications are using the most battery, meaning that which applications are using the most processing power, meaning that what applications are just slowing your phone down, especially considering that many of the applications work in the background, which makes it so you're not even using them, but yet they still use your processing power. We can also easily disable this option by simply disabling the whole applications or putting them into deep sleep. Now, the deep sleep option is something that is not available on all the phones. Mostly Samsung users should know this feature. However, on Moto we can just simply disable this option or limit the background usage. So we can showcase this on a TikTok. As you can see, I will now leave the TikTok itself and go back into the app battery usage. And here we have manage app battery usage. We can see that we have the ability to set it to always allow. So basically apps will always run in the background, and we can even see that it says shortens battery life. And then we have the ability to just don't allow it or smart use. So basically it will automatically try to guess when you're using the application and when you're not. And if you're away from your phone, then it should automatically turn off the application from running in the background. Still, I would advise you to just set it to don't allow, especially in applications that you're not using that often. For example, the Facebook. The Facebook is really known for notorious running in the background and gathering information, sending that information to everywhere on the internet and just wasting a lot of your processing power. So I would advise you to just uninstall it. If you don't know how to do that, don't worry, I can show you. First though, we will set it to don't allow. Then we want to go into our applications, which are below the accessibility options. We want to see all 76 applications, or more if you have more applications, and this is like the whole list of every single app you have on your phone. Then we want to locate something that we want to get rid of. As you can see, luckily I do not have Facebook installed. Oof, that was a close one. But we can try to find something that wastes, there are a lot of applications that are wasting our battery, meaning they are wasting our processing power, meaning that in the long term they are wasting our performance. So our performance is just lost somewhere between these applications. So for example, we can see that we have the TikTok, and we can do a bunch of things with the TikTok itself. First of all, we can just go here and clear the cache memory. Some applications, not all of them, but some applications in general tend to gather a lot of cache memory, meaning they're wasting a lot of your RAM memory, meaning that overall your phone just feels a little bit slow. So it's also a really good practice to just clear that cache memory from time to time. And you can easily do that by just hitting clear cache and also clear storage. Though keep in mind that this will delete all the application data, so you might not want to do that. However, if you are not using the applications at all, I would advise you to click force stop or just to uninstall the application completely. It really depends on if you're really using the application, because both of these options really disable you from using them, to be honest, though uninstalling is generally better because not only you save the processing power, which you save anyway with force stop, but also you gain a lot of storage space because uninstalling just removes everything, while force stop basically freezes the whole application, meaning that it won't work anymore and won't work anymore in the background especially, but it's still on your storage on your device. So for me, I will just uninstall TikTok. I advise you to do that too, because TikTok is bad for you, it's wasting a lot of your time, and yeah, it will also gain you a performance boost. So I will now hit uninstall and go with OK. Obviously, I was joking a moment ago, but it is common practice to just uninstall things that you're not using because they tend to use a lot of your performance, which is, to be honest, really unfortunate. Anyway, let's turn around and let's leave the applications themselves and let's go to the browsers, because browsers also tend to waste a lot of RAM, especially if we have a lot of tabs opened. We can easily check how many tabs we have opened on basically the tabs menu. It really depends on the browser, but most of them have very similar design. So we'll now go into the my browser. For me it's Chrome, and most of the browsers have like these tabs in the top right corner or maybe top left corner. You want to click those tabs, and here we have all our tabs opened. If we have a lot of them opened, so for example I will now open a bunch of the tabs, just like that, we're still using only one tab at the time, and yet we can see that we have 14 tabs in the background. And it's important to note that every single tab might get basically froze, like it's not using the whole part. It's not like your open tab times 14. I hope it's not, but some PC users might actually recognize this issue with RAM, and that the browsers usually tend to waste a lot of it, especially Google Chrome. But we'll get into browsers more specifically now. I will show you how to remove every single tab at once without clicking the X icon for every single one. We can easily do that by just clicking three dots in the top right corner and then hitting close all tabs. We'll hit close tabs and groups, and we can see that we now have no tabs. So we want to basically create one, so we shall just have one, and we only have one tab, meaning that we have a lot more memory. But speaking of the browsers, PC users, once again, might recognize that Chrome is known for notorious running in the background and wasting so much RAM that even other applications on your PC are not working properly or working slower. And it's really the same case for every phone, especially our Moto here. And to be honest, it is a case of the Chrome. I would advise you to just switch to a different application. For example, the Mozilla one is really good, or even Edge on the mobile version. There's also Brave, which is pretty well optimized, to be honest. And to be honest, this is not only the browser based, because it applies to every single application you have on your phone. For example, the Messenger, pretty well-known communicator, is also pretty large as the application itself, and it's always working in the background because it has to gather all the data from the web through all the people that message you or whatever, and they're wasting a lot of your performance. However, you can usually find light versions of popular applications. For example, I can actually just show you that. If we go to the Google Play Store, which is right here, oh yeah, we'll go get started. We'll skip this one. We use password. Oh god. Okay, I will quickly input my password here because it appears that my Play Store is not set up for some reason, which is really unfortunate to say, at least. And I have forgotten my password. Oh, that is not good. Maybe I'm just wait a moment, because I have to input my password, which I totally did not forgot. I hope I did not. But anyway, while I find my password here, okay, I actually did it. I have it done here. I logged in. We can log in, I can talk about the light versions of the applications, because if we go to the search here, and let's see, we want to search for, well, there was Twitter Mini, but since the Musk actually switched it and took it over, I think there's no more Twitter Mini on the Play Store. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they deleted that. However, we have Facebook Lite, we have Messenger Lite, and we have all other cool applications. For example, we have there's the Facebook Lite, and after it loads, we'll see that it has a little bit of different logo, but it's Facebook Lite. And if you take a closer look, though it's not always visible, we have that the similar app is available, and it's Facebook. And if we go to this Facebook, we'll see that oh yeah, okay, here you have it. The Facebook Lite is 2.6 megabytes. However, the Facebook itself is 85. That's maybe not 20 times more, let's be honest, but it's a lot more than the normal Facebook. And the same applies with Messenger Lite. I believe even there's a WhatsApp app that has a light version. I could be wrong, but I think there's also YouTube Go, but it may not be available in all the countries. And yeah. However, let's leave the applications now, because there's one last setting I want to show you, and it's a pretty cool setting, and it's available on the Moto phone. And it's just the performance boost, and also the RAM Plus. We can actually access them if we go into our settings. Let's leave the application menu, let's scroll all the way down, oh god, and go to the system. Here at the bottom of the system we have performance. And not only, we have basically three settings here, though the storage cleanup is basically the automatic cache memory cleaner. Like, you don't have to manually do anything else, it just says that it will automatically clean your cache memory for you, so your phone will be smoother. Then we have other things like RAM Boost, which basically takes a lot of your normal storage that is not RAM by default, but if you have, for example, 12 gigs of free memory, you can actually say that, hey, you want to now behave as a RAM, meaning that overall you will have much more RAM to work with, which is a really nice feature, especially considering when you're not usually using a lot of your memory anyway. Then you just might as well set it to RAM via RAM Plus option. And lastly, if we leave it, though we can actually see that we have the ability to not only enable or disable that, but also to set to different RAMs, but I believe that if we set it to different one, yeah, we'll have to restart the device, so I'm not going to do that. And lastly, we have Smart App Launch, which will basically automatically launch applications the smart way, so there's a lot of technical things here, but basically they will open much faster, which is a nice feature. But anyway, I think that this is all for this video. However, there's also one last resort option, and it's probably the best for some old device, like you had your old phone in the drawer and you want to take it back and maybe use it for some reason, and you might notice that your phone is really slow. There's one option that you can do, there's one thing you can do actually, in order to save it, and that is to perform a hard reset. It's really easy to do. All you have to do is just go into the system settings here, and right above the performance we have reset options. And as you can see at the bottom we have erase all data, factory reset. Now, it will do what it says it will do. It will erase every single thing, so every single application, every single image, every single video, every single message, every single file, everything will be done. However, there is a very high chance that using that and basically wiping everything on your phone, you will make it run a little bit faster. Keep in mind that even some older phones might not be rescuable, to be honest, especially considering that back in the past, the phones had much worse hardware and software didn't use as much hardware to work. However, today many applications use a lot of RAM, a lot of memory, a lot of everything, and older phones are just can't catch up to them. However, if you're struggling, especially if you're struggling with an older device, then a hard reset will be the best for you. Anyway, now it's all for this video. If you found it useful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.